Well, hey folks, it's Fist-25 and we're back with one of the final ship reviews of the Origin series before we get to the 890 jump. This is the M50, the racing ship from Origin, and we're also going to have the 85x on this video. So sit back, relax, and roll the footage. In front of us, we have the Origin M50. We're here at one of the AIDS shelters on Daymar. The Origin M50 is a small single-seat racing ship that doubles as an interdiction ship. It is very often referred to as a power plant with a cockpit attached. It was introduced in lore in 2920, and it represented another leap forward in engine technology that improved upon the 350R. Despite publicized teething difficulties in the early stages, the current lineup is a solid spacecraft design that promises exceptional speed and has proven it time and time again with multiple Murray Cup wins. In the late 2930s, the UEE Advocacy purchased a bulk of these racers to convert into interdiction ships. So I know it's definitely part of Squadron 42, and so the M50 is probably going to play a fairly prominent role in the verse. And it's when you start out in Loreville, it's one of those ships that's on display outside the ASOP terminals near the New Deal shipyard. And when you see it, you immediately know it's probably a racing ship. It's got a really beautiful design, a very sleek aesthetic. Definitely like a racing car slash jet fighter that it just the way the lines are, it's just very much built for speed. As we walk around the forward part of it, we can see all the antennas that are sticking up, but you see the placement of the maneuvering thrusters and the forward, I guess, canard that will help aid in lift and hopefully aid in turning once we have controllable surfaces that move. You can see it does actually have a rolling chassis with actual wheels, sort of like a normal modern day airplane. We can see the intakes up here, the hydrogen intakes, the M50 branding, and if you can see it, it kind of has a weird it's almost like the old 300 series where it's segmented into different parts on the fuselage. Definitely not a whole lot of room in here. It is definitely a racer. It's got that big intake up on the front, on the top, and these really giant engines that we're going to take a look at those engines more once we get off into flight. You can see I have a size 1 missile and a fixed attrition 2 on here. I don't know what the attrition is mounted on because there's nothing there. Probably because it's thinking it's going to be a gimbal, but I use this one fixed because there's only 2 guns. As we walk around the rest of the starboard side here, we can see the wings with the winglets that are sticking up, providing the majority of the lift while we're in atmosphere. And it has that classic kind of Origin spoiler type of look, providing quite a bit of downforce. And what I think are probably the coolest looking engines in the entire game. This is the exhaust with a variable exhaust nozzle on the back. And when it needs more thrust, those nozzles will close up, as you'll see when we're flying it around. Which, if you don't know kind of what that means, is if you ever had like a garden hose and you stick your thumb over part of the hose when water's coming out, the pressure increases, and that is the same type of effect that these engines will produce when the vent closes up. And we use that on modern day jet fighters today in the 21st century. And it is a very symmetrical ship, so the port side is exactly like the starboard side. And it just has a small little footprint. When we get in it, you'll see it's extremely fast. It's extremely maneuverable. And it's just a really cool ship. It's very, very fun to fly. It climbs that atmosphere like a dart. It's just fantastic. So let me get into a little bit more about the M50 here before we hop in the cockpit. It is a small size ship with a crew of just one person, just the pilot. It has 0 cargo, so 0 SCU for cargo. It is flyable in game, obviously, and it goes for about 1.19 million Alpha UEC in the game. You can pick this up at New Deal Shipyard in Lorville. And you can rent this for about 35,800 Alpha UEC or 10,000 rec. Claim time's about 12 minutes. Expedites about 2 minutes for about 3,000 Alpha UEC. You can buy the M50, but it is time limited sales. You can't just buy it whenever you want. They go for roughly about $100 US. There's not a whole lot to it. I would pretty much say right now it's overpriced. I think $80, the original price it was released at, would probably be a good point for this. It has a SCM speed of 246 meters a second and a maximum speed of 1,343 meters a second, which consequently is just a scotch slower than the 350R. It's actually not as fast, but I do think it accelerates faster. Some of the development of the M50 in lore. In 2918, the final concept of the M50 was completed by an Origin junior designer Alberto Vara and engineer Havo Croy. Before its reveal, the prototype and Y-series test ships are plagued with difficulties. Repurposed for the 890 jump, the 85X, originally modeled the XVB, went through rigorous tests along other cutting-edge speedsters to find the model that would ultimately become the M50. And we're going to review the 85X in this video as well on the second half. In 2920, the first of the M50 were unveiled at the Imperial Engineering Expo in Prime. Constructed as a spiritual successor to Origin's legendary Export, the first M50 was an attempt to reclaim Origin's dominance on the racetrack. The public's interest in the ship flagged, causing a slow and steady decline in sales. In 2923, the M50 wins its first Murray Cup in the hands of former Origin test pilot Caleb Arlo. The victory establishes the M50 as a dynamic and versatile speed machine. In 2936, the UEE advocacy secretly met with ship manufacturers and presented their parameters for an ideal interdiction ship. To the surprise of many Origin Jumpworks, picks of the M50 seemed to satisfy all the requirements. The commission worked closely with Origin on minor tweaks before bulk buying a shipment for their new elite unit, the Bronson's Bolt. In 2938, the advocacy purchased a bulk of these racers to convert into interdiction ships. This modified version of the M50 wasn't the fastest or most powerful ship proposed to the advocacy. It balanced both better with the alternatives with the right loadout. These custom models became notorious among outlaw packs, several of whom who had open bounties available for anyone who would risk the wrath of the advocacy by destroying one. In 2945, the M50's 25th anniversary approached. The ship was redesigned with more than 600 modifications. The details about the advocacy modifications to the M50 remain classified, and though a few of these ships have fallen into the hands of outlaws, no one other than those deputized by the advocacy have been able to replicate the changes in the standard M50. The M50 does come with a couple different types of paints, both of which I have bought. But I have a bug in the game right now where it's attributed in my hangar, but does not show up in game, which is too bad, because I would love to show you the polar, the white look of this, and the Stormbringer, which is kind of the blue-black look of the M50. So with that, let's go ahead and hop in the cockpit, and let's take this thing for a ride. What do you guys think? So there's only one entrance here, the pilot seat, ladder, canopy. So we're going to hop into the pilot seat. And this is a cool entrance. You just pull yourself up, slam yourself right into the canopy as we're coming up on a sunset on Daymar. The canopy closes. You can see we have a very small silhouette of a ship out here. Compared to an aid shelter, it's it's almost about maybe half the size of that. As you look at the engines here, let's take a look at these engines. This is one of the coolest parts of the M50 is the way those engines are. They say ACOM on them, and they look almost like a modern day car engine, the way they kind of work. We'll go ahead and get the ship started up, and we'll take a look at them again.
Origin Jumpworks at your service. Core system operational.
All right, so we got power on here as everything's charging. You can see there's really no animation inside the engine bay, which I think would be really cool if we saw that the main gear turn or something different. But you can see the motors are actually on, and that's good. So I'm gonna reset for a default view here. We'll go ahead and lift up. Very, very easy to lift up. Very light aircraft. Let's watch the landing gear retract. Very nice, very clean, very slick on the bottom as well. Lots of angles in there. I mean, they're kind of radiused, but they look very nice. Very nice. So let's take off a little bit. You see how quick this thing just accelerates? And this is just SCM speed, folks. I promise you. See, SCM 241. I mean, and we are hauling. You can see the M50 kind of turns on a dime here, as we did a 180 turn real quick. Here, flying back over the aid shelter. Let's get closer into these engines. As I give more speed, you can see how the exhaust also closes, letting there be more thrust come out of there. And then as we start to level out on our speed, you'll see them open up. Let me pull some of the throttle back. Yeah, so as I go back to SCM, you see the vents open up, and we actually slow down. So what a beautiful looking ship as we're flying around the mountains of Daymar here. Let's go ahead and crank the speed all the way up to maximum, and we'll see what we can get here in atmosphere at Daymar on a moon. Let's see what kind of speed we can get. This is one of the best ships here to go like low flying with, because the throttle response and the change of vector and direction is quicker than most other ships, I think, because the way the maneuvering thrusters are placed. So it looks like an atmosphere, pitch down to level, maybe. That's with some afterburner. Okay, so we got almost to 800 before our engines turned off, and now they just lit back up. And let's go ahead and head out into space. Very quick on the pitch ladder, as it should be. Now, in this particular build, I have a full competition loadout. So everything in the M50 right here is built for racing. So it's not a very and there's no industrial components in there, you know what I mean? So they're not designed for durability or anything else like that. They are designed for performance. So as you can see, we are at max speed here as we just cleared out of the atmosphere. And our max speed, 1342. Let's go back down to SCM. We can see how fast we got off the surface of Daymar there. Really, really quick. And we'll go ahead and check out the M50 in space. And man, just such a beautiful ship, guys. Really nice. So we are going to test its combat capability here. I'm going to do some dogfighting missions. Then we will get into the brochure of the M50. Actually, we'll get into the loadout first. Then we'll get into the brochure. And there's no commercial for it. So after the brochure, we will move over onto the 85x. And we'll give that a look-see and do a little bit of combat with that. And check out that ship, and then we will do some third-person dogfighting and wrap up the video. So please stick with us, and I'll see you over at the combat mission. All right, everybody. So here we are waiting for our target to spawn in for the bounty hunter mission. King G McMoney's, I think. Over here at Gundo. I just wanted to show you a brief tour of the cockpit here while we have you. Here is the power button. Towards the bottom, we have two buttons: spool quantum drive, engine on and off, and the open exterior, press to unlock. There's really nothing to the left, and there's nothing to the right. We do have 4 multi-function displays that we can manipulate here. They're kind of hologram images. And we do have some kind of a 3D radar up here along with our standard HUD. There is a lot of glass with only this one strut here in the cockpit, which is pretty nice. To exit 0G, you just kind of come up to towards the top of the cockpit. And yeah, that's about it for the HUD. I mean, it's a very small single seat aircraft. So I don't expect much to begin with in terms of the cockpit. So hopefully this guy spawns in here soon, and we'll get to show you the capabilities. I have 2 attrition 2s loaded on this ship, so firing those out. They look pretty good, even though they're not attached to anything. And then I also have those 2 size 1 missiles. So let's just hang on, and we'll cut into the combat as soon as my target spawns in. All right, folks, so our bad guy just spawned in. We have contact. It is a Cutlass Black, and he is headed towards us. So I'm gonna, because the ship can have really good speed, I am gonna up my speed. I'm gonna use that speed to my advantage here. We're just gonna pepper this guy with some attrition 2 fire. We'll get far enough away. We'll lock on our missiles. We're size 1 missiles do lose their target after 2,000 kilometers or 2,000 meters. Sorry. We did take down some shields with those missiles. They did hit. And there goes the Cuddy. Pretty darn quick. I don't even think I took a hit because I'm able to strafe and move around him so fast that, you know, M50, there's a lot of missions out there where you actually have to fight an M50, and they, you know, with CIG's logic right now, they are jousters. So they will, you know, they'll come at you like full speed and shoot some at you, pepper you, and then they'll just turn around and they'll come right back at you. And it's literally a joust after joust after joust. So be careful with that, because the M50 is a very fast ship, especially if you're trying to get some kind of a missile lock on it. It can come at you, and if you're coming at it, those speeds go real fast. And I've had many an M50 run into me because when you play chicken with the computer, they don't blink. They just hit you. So be mindful of that. And so there was our first-person combat with the M50. Let's head on out to the loadout, then the brochure, and then we'll get on to the 85x. Thanks for watching so far, folks. Stick around, and if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. Thank you. All right, folks, so here we are at the M50 Interceptor. It's loadout here. We can start off here seeing it's a racing ship, careers competition. The ship size is 1. The hull hit points is just under 3,000 at 2,991. So definitely not going to take a beating in the hull. Weighs about 10,000 kilograms. Its pitch is 80 degrees a second, yaw at 75, and roll at 151. So very, very maneuverable. Not the most maneuverable ship in the game, surprisingly, but one of the top 3, I believe. standard hydrogen and quantum fuel capacity of a size 1 ship. You can pick the ship up for 1.19 million Alpha UEC at either New Deal Shipyard in Lorville or Astro Armada at Area 18. Let's go ahead and look at its damage statistics here. Its base weapons are 2 M4A laser cannons, giving you 458 DPS at 366 alpha damage. Really good alpha damage, not bad DPS, but we're going to keep these as fixed size 2s, and we're going to jump up from 458 by putting on 2 attrition 2s up to 822 DPS when those attritions are heated up. Because of the speed of the M50, I don't think anybody will have any problem getting in real close to fire off your weapons. That is quite a bit of damage, 822 for just 2 guns. The base missiles on here are marksman ones, which I believe are infrared. They do 5,184 damage. I like to swap these out for task force ones, which is pretty high damage. I like the electromagnetic missiles for some reason. Bumping up our damage, our missile damage to 5,783. Now for systems, it comes with 2 competition. Well, everything is competition grade C, but it comes with 2 Targa shields, giving us 3,600 shield hit pool with 25-second full charge. I like to go with the full competition Yakti shields. You can see that they are about 300 more than the Targas. As far as the hit point pool per, so it's give us 600 more shield hit points with the same time as a 25-second charge and healing at about 216 hit points a second. With the power plant, it comes with a sun flare at 1052 power a second. I like to bump that up to the Lumicore, which, as you can see, gives us about 400, a little over 400 more powers a second. Giving us, putting us definitely under halfway for our power consumption here on the meter. The coolers, they come with ice plunges, which are not bad. As you can see, we're over here at 186 out of 464 cooling per second. But we're going to bump that up with 0 rushes, which give you 10 more cooling a second. And I like them more. They seem to recharge faster as well. Definitely keeping us under half, close to a third of our cooling at 186 out of now 476 cooling. For the quantum drive, the light fire is certainly capable. It's very slow. The competition drives are slow. I like to bump it up to the Foxfire, the competition grade B, giving us 104,000 kilometers a second in quantum and letting us go from Hurston to Port Olisar in about 6 minutes and from PO to Microtech in about 10 minutes. It's still pretty slow. If you want, you could easily just throw an Atlas on there, get there a little bit faster. But I like to keep the competition theme with the M50. It's just kind of a thing for me. So with that, let's throw our stock items into the cart, check out the cart, and we are looking at 101,000 to fully equip this ship for its racing loadout with attrition 2s. Not terrible, but probably a little pricey. Those shields are not cheap at all, but they're not the worst. And the quantum drive's about 30,000 Alpha UEC. So there you go. That is the loadout of the M50. And I'm going to empty this cart. And we're going to hop into the M50 brochure and we'll see you there. All right, folks. So here we are at the M50 brochure from Origin Jumpworks. What a great shot of the M50 there. Such a beautiful aircraft. Just all engine. This pod racer is just super cool. Definitely one of my favorites and one of Jawa's favorites in the game. This brochure looks like it's coming out in fall of 2944, apparently. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and go to the next page. A race is only a race, as the M50 speeds towards what looks like maybe something in pyro. When the competition can keep up. Nice tagline. Very pretty picture of the M50. Blow the competition away. The definition of performance. See, that's kind of basically the white paint that I wish I had so I could show you guys, but it does look really cool on the ship. Where art and innovation meet, the product of inspired design and rigorous attention to detail, constructed from the most advanced materials and production techniques, fastidiously engineered and obsessively honed to deliver levels of performance, agility, and speed previously believed to be impossible, the next generation M series captures the spirit of the original while launching firmly into the future. 2920 Origin Jumpworks debuts the prototype M50 at the Imperial Engineering Expo to mixed reviews. The public seems hesitant to accept another high-performance racing ship. 2923, 3 years after the initial release, the M50 wins its first Murray Cup at the hands of former Origin test pilot Caleb Arlo. The victory establishes the M50 as a dynamic and versatile speed machine. And today, featuring over 600 modifications, the 2945 M50 is back to continue its legacy of turning heads and blazing trails. The quest for true speed. The engineers at Origin's multi-award-winning racing team know that true speed can only be reached when you find the perfect balance between power and maneuverability. Every 2945 M50 has 12 Scalpel Precision B thrusters. Each high-performance vernier thruster is individually tuned by on-site technicians in order to consistently achieve surgical precision without sacrificing plant efficiency. Utilizing a forward-swept wing pattern, which I love, the M50's primary wing system are constructed with Origin's proprietary Z-Core composite technology to offer flexibility and resilience while keeping weight down. The M50's rear airfoil is instrumental in reducing drag and increasing stability during atmospheric flight. Plus, it looks cool. The best just got better. At Origin, we honor our centuries of racing heritage, not by reflecting on our laurels, but by using the lessons of the past to continually push ourselves forward. Everything we do is governed by the belief that the best can always get better. The race to perfection is one that will never be over, but it's a race in which we continue to make great leaps. Innovating to win and redefining standards is in our DNA and is in the very heart of the groundbreaking 2945 M50. Fabricating the future. In generations past, unified body construction has meant finding one lightweight material that could withstand all the demands and rigors of high-speed sport flying. While this technique provided superior strength and weight management, compromises had to be made. No longer. Thanks to an innovative molecular bonding construction process, the engineers at Origin have constructed a chassis that comprises over 70 specialized alloys acting together as one. Each bend and curve of the M50 is uniquely formulated to have the perfect combination of rigidity, flex, and strength. The M50's molded diamond laminate canopy offers maximum visibility while being rated to protect the pilot from a variety of environmental conditions as well as light impacts. Knowing that building a ship is only half the battle, we put the M50 through rigorous stress tests, including multiple Origin facilities to make sure it can endure the harshest conditions. Go faster. A racing craft like no other deserves an engine and power plant like no other. That's why the M50 features two AECOM Starheart 2 power plants that, when combined with massive twin-hammer propulsion HM 4.2 engines, herald a new era in performance, efficiency, response, and tractability. Developed in a joint collaboration between Hammer Propulsion and the Origin Jumpworks racing team, that's a lot. The twin HM 4.2 were built for one purpose: speed. Now these high-performance engines come standard with every M50. AECOM Starheart line of power plants utilize cutting-edge anti-tritium technology to deliver all the power you need with no compromise. Calibrated to minimize energy transfer delays and maximize output efficiency, the result is unrivaled speed and power when you want it, and more importantly, when you need it. Shoot first. Building with an eye towards Murray Cup's Blitz race, our designers looked for a way to incorporate a comprehensive weapons and defensive package without sacrificing speed and efficiency. Both of its weapons are ideal for rapid deployment and fast on-the-fly targeting, while their hardpoints are precisely positioned to minimize counterforce while firing. Chances are they'll never see what hit them. Not sure that's true. It says bearings M3A, which we know there's M4As on there. So we won't talk about that. Capable of locking and tracking targets, the combination Talon Stalker missiles, which do not come with this ship. And then it starts talking about Gorgon Defender, the all-stop shield generators, which is not what's on there. We have competition stuff on there now. Piloting precision with all the technology and engineering that goes into each and every one of our vehicles. Now look at the cockpit in this ship now. It doesn't look like that anymore. The M50s are not integrated like that. They're more holograms. We don't have all the graphs on the side and all that stuff going on. So I would say that's out of date. I mean, and it is, what, 5-6 years old now. And so it kind of makes sense. So we're not going to go over the stick and all that. And it kind of gives a loadout of the ship and its mass and all that. And, you know, keep in mind, all this stuff has changed over the years, except for, you know, the basic lore stuff like the power plant is an ACOM Starheart 2. It's, you know, the weapons change, the missiles change, the shields change, all that stuff changes. The words of a winner. The only vehicle I ever counted on to get me across the finish line was an M50. When you climb into a cockpit, you have to completely trust your machine. You have to know for sure that it's going to do what you need it to. And no matter how hard I pushed the M50, it was a ship I could count on to push right back. Racers get it when you say that your ship is more than a ship. It's your partner, your friend. So you can imagine that I was a bit worried when Origin asked me to put the 2945 through its paces, but all that worry was for nothing. Within the first lap, I knew. The handling, the speed, it was all there. Better than that. Better than I could have imagined. This was the soul of my old friend in a brand new body. The ship was born to race, and for my money, destined to win. It's from Hypatia Daring, the M50 pilot and 2934 Murray Cup winner. It gives kind of a detailed breakdown of all the spots of the M50. And then it talks about some of the story of the M50 from the lead ship designer, Nasir Qasim. I'll let you guys discover that on your own. And then that's it for the brochure on the Origin M50. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And let's move on to the next ship as part of this video, the Origin 85x. Hi guys, welcome back to the video, and we are here at Port Olisar, and we're going to do the review and look at the Origin 85x. What a cool looking ship this is. I'll try to do it as quick as I can here before Port Olisar impounds it and tows it because we didn't take off. Look at those wheels on the 85x. Those are definitely like racing tires. So that's super cool. Take a look at the wings. You know, there's obviously that spoiler from Origin. That's kind of one of their trademarks, but it has like a secondary wing in the back with looks like a movable surface. Basically a horizontal stabilizer over here with a maneuvering thruster above it. And you can see there's a thruster here, probably for the lift. And the wings are actually swept forward and also mounted into the intake, which provides a really, really cool look. I don't think enough people fly this aircraft. Considering it does have 4 guns, that's actually quite surprising. I kind of look at it as like a convertible because it fits 2 people really, really well. It's kind of a touring ship to begin with. Well, always something interesting going on at Port Olisar. As we look at the very front, a very, very sleek and aerodynamic round bubble shape on the front of the 85x, along with some reflection and again, it has that kind of shape where it's high, it has that hump in the middle and it kind of comes down in the front, down in the back. It looks dramatic, and you can see a little bit of scratches and damage and stuff, even though this is a newly spawned ship. I like that. It adds flavor to it. It does have that little intake at the very top there, which we'll see more as we do an exterior shot. You can see I got some attritions gimbaled on the wings and some GT210s gimbaled right under the bottom of the fuselage in the center. As we come around, we'll take a look at the engines. I would say fairly standard. It's got that horizontal Origin look. And it's a different looking ship from Origin. Something I don't fly nearly enough. But let's go ahead and hop inside, and we'll take a look around in here as we take off. So you can see there's 2 seats right there, which is kind of why I call it the convertible. It's really a coupe, right? It's made for that. Let's go ahead and fire up the engine.
Origin Jumpworks at your service. Core system operational.
Okay, so still pretty quiet. It still has that cool Origin sound and music. As we look out the back, we see that it's red and not blue, which is kind of different from Origin. And it almost has like a fire coming out of it. So let's go ahead and take a lift off. Very nice. Let's retract the landing gear. Very M50 like. We'll back up and we got, and look at the flame coming out of that engine. It actually looks very nice. It looks really nice. I really like that. They did a great job with the design of that. As we take a look around the ship as we fly away from Port Olisar. Oh, that guy's always interrupting. We can see there is a scoop on the top, and look, there's me sitting in there and with room for a passenger. So it's kind of like taking a cross-country trip there. It's a lot going on, but it is a small package. It's a small ship. I like it. I like it quite a lot. I really do. Let's where should we go? Let's head for Selen. And so I have this ship it's not stealth or competition or anything. It is fully loud and proud. I have the standard components I'll put on it, which you'll see later in the loadout section of the video. Now we're just gonna go cruise around Selen, see if we can get to the atmosphere, just go fly around so you guys can get a feel for it. But first thing is we want to get the SCM speed here. We're looking at about 189, 190 for full SCM. A very quiet engine. You can hear it outside, but it's very quiet. 313 has some weird stuff going on with its audio, I think. As we move around, I'm trying to get back into, there we go. Wouldn't let me get back into the cockpit, but here we are, 1182 for its max speed, which is just fine for me. Let's see if we can find something on Selen to go fly around on. Terra Mills. I do have the Atlas Quantum drive in here, so it's pretty quick to calibrate and spool.
Drive activated.
Not the fastest drive out there in the market, but pretty good nonetheless. Okay, we lucked out and we got some daylight out here. You can see on the very top of the cockpit here, you can see like a reflection from the interior of the cockpit. Look how much glass is here. It doesn't have that strut that the 89 or the M50 has, which is pretty nice. The cockpit itself has 3 multifunction displays for the pilot. The co-pilot, I would imagine, would pretty much have the same thing. None of the buttons here necessarily have anything going on. To the left is the ladder canopy. Open the exterior, press to unlock. I'm not sure where the power button is. There's the exit. Usually we see something for like there's the power button over here on the kind of the right hand side power button. Everything else is pretty darn standard on this guy. While we fly around selling here, let's do a little history of the 85X. The Origin 85X is a snub fighter that comes with the 890 jump. So if you buy the $1,000 890 jump, it comes with it. Elegantly styled and meticulously constructed, the 85X is versatile and comprehensive away vessel for the 890 jump. So it is the companion vessel, kind of like the Pisces is for the Carrack. The 85X is I guess I'm misreading that. Sorry. Whether descending down onto the planet's surface or taking in the sights of your system, the 85X will continue the 890's proud tradition of turning heads. It's the power of a racer with the reliability of a touring ship. So that's kind of what it really is. It is a touring ship. It has a crew of 1 to 2. It has no cargo capacity. I necessarily wouldn't call it a snub because it does have a quantum drive. It can operate independently, kind of like the Pisces can. I would consider a snub something like the Merlin or the Archimedes that's attached to the Constellation that does not have a quantum drive. You can buy the ship for 574,000 alpha UEC, rent it for 11,500. Its claim time's about 3 minutes. Expedites 510 for no time. To buy this game in real life, it is a time limited sale, and they go for $50 when they do go on sale. So, actually, a pretty darn good price for a ship like this. It is actually fairly quick too, and it comes with 4 guns. That's 2 more guns than the M50, even though they are smaller sized. It has a combat speed of 200 meters a second, which is the SCM, which really it's 190. We're looking at it right now. The maximum speed of 1183. This is what's on the webpage. So some of the features: Microtech's Providence system allows personalized access to the 85X systems, but also stays in contact with the 890 jump to make sure that the pilot is constantly up to date on your ship's status. The 85X was originally known as the Model XVB, one of many racer prototypes for the Origin racing team. It went through rigorous testing alongside other cutting-edge speedsters to find that edge in competitive racing. Although Origin ultimately selected the model that would become the M50, the XVB was not forgotten and found new life as a companion ship for the 890 jump. There's not much other lore to the 85X. So let's I like this ship. I need to fly this more, I think. I think it's pretty darn cool. Let's give it some gas and let's see how it performs out here around selling. Not a bad roll speed. Definitely not as quick as the M50. Let's look at that definitely does not maneuver like the M50 at all. It's fighting me on the yaw here. I'm fully yawed over and doesn't like it. Although if I add some afterburner in, it will definitely add to it. Yeah, it fights that. Maybe that's where the thrusters are put and the design of those thrusters and the way the physics work on it. Let's go ahead and do let's see, it's fighting me on pitch too. And that might be because the gravity of Stellan is high, but I'm not sure that's the case. So that was a full loop. Look at all those meteoroid and impacts here on Stellan. It truly looks a lot like Luna here on Earth. The grayness and the blackness and all the pockmarks. Looks very good. And see, actually, you have done a really great job on the polish passes. So, let's go ahead and fire some weapons. So you can see everything is tied to my left mouse button by default. All my weapons on here are gimbaled. So it's 4 weapons that are pretty darn powerful. And speaking of powerful weapons, I think it's time to head up into space and let's get on with a first person combat. And then we'll go over the loadout of the 85X, and then we'll get into some third person dogfighting stuff. And so stay tuned. Yeah, so before we get into that combat, I did hop over into the co-pilot seat of the 85X, and I just wanted to make sure you guys had the opportunity to see this. So the co-pilot, the co-pilot does have 3 multi-function displays in front of them in the glove box area. Other than that, I don't think there's much. Oh, there is a remote turret. I thought there might be. Again, I don't fly this ship enough, but I wonder if we can actually use these. But it looks like the co-pilot can get, there's the exit, but over here is the remote turret, which should be the Gatling guns. Yeah. So of the size 1 gimbaled guns on the bottom of the ship is what the co-pilot has access to for a remote turret, which is actually pretty handy. I mean, if you're gonna, you could easily use this ship solo without a problem at all. But if you do have a co-pilot or someone to pick up and you got someone on your tail, it adds even more versatility to the ship. I mean, I think that's a pretty darn big deal, to be honest with you, is the ability for the co-pilot to be able to help out. And like this would be, this ship would be really good for like prison breakouts from Klesher. I really do. I think it would be. I hate the EVA system right now. Why is the ship so far away? Did I lose my ship? Where's my ship? There it is. But yeah, with the ability, you pick up someone escaping from prison. Oh, look at the intake there. You can see it's got that yellow sucking in that hydrogen, I hope. You pick somebody up and they're able to actually use that bottom turret on the bottom and towards the back for any pursuing craft. Like when the advocacy starts chasing us. I think the ship is going to end up being pretty darn useful, and for the price, I'm not sure you can beat it. So let's go try to get this first person combat knocked out. You see, as a pilot, I still have access to all the guns, and they're gimbaled. So there's actually quite a lot of versatility in this ship. Kind of a hidden gem, maybe. I mean, it's got a jump drive. I can put an Atlas on it. It seems fairly good on fuel efficiency. I mean, granted, it only has size 1 guns, but the benefit of size 1 guns is you can gimbal all of them and not lose anything, because with a size 1 gimbal, you can still put a size 1 gun on it. So auto aim is nice. The ability for your co-pilot to be able to help you attack is nice. It's not, I wouldn't say it's super maneuverable or anything like that, but it's definitely pretty good. It's not bad. But let's see what it's like here in combat. I think this could be really, with a price point of $50. I think this could be one of the better ships. It does not have any missiles, so keep that in mind. But much like a Mustang Alpha or something like that, they don't have missiles either, and they don't have the ability for 2 people and they definitely don't have a turret. And while it is a little bit cheaper, this ship isn't much more expensive, so maybe keep that in mind. Let's see what we can do to this Freelancer Miss. Wow, Freelancer Miss versus 85X. Keep that nose on target. Okay, 2 jousts in. We're getting there. We're taking some He's taking a little bit of damage. Yeah, I see he's upset. Actually, I might be able to fight this in third person. That was kind of a weird view in third person. Because everything's gimbaled, I can typically fight these battles in third person, and it's pretty cool. Let's see if we can... Oh! See? Like, desync live is what's going on there. Oh! 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 Freelancer Miss is pretty heavily shielded. It's got quite a bit of armor on it, even though I'm hitting the same part of the ship here every time. Well, it must have heated up. There we go. You keep saying that. Did I run out of bullets? He is pretty heavily damaged. I think I may have ran out of bullets. That's surprising. I didn't use that many bullets. Oh, it looks like his friends are here. Oh, they might have just overheated. Come on. Alright, well, just too big of a ship to be able to kill him in third person like that with the way the camera's set up.
Weapon systems.
Come on, oh, the desync. Okay. That was a fairly robust target for a ship of this size. Although he wasn't firing back a whole lot. Let's see what Mustang Delta versus the 85X looks like. Boom, went quick. And there is an M50. Hey, this is Origin on Origin violence, buddy. See the joust? He's probably going to joust me again. Yep. It helps to turn into their joust to get more shots on target. Oh, and he went. Must have been some overload type of damage. I don't know. Oh, got a second little explosion over there. That was nice. All right, folks. So that is the first-person combat of the 85X. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly had a good time. And now we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the loadout of the 85X. And go ahead and take it away, me. All right, folks, so here we have the loadout of the 85X from Origin. It is a luxury ship, careers exploration, ship size is 1. The whole hit points is 2,400, so very low. Weighs about 19,000 kilograms. Its pitch rate is 80 degrees a second, yaw rate is 75, and roll is 135. Its hydrogen capacity and quantum fuel capacity are actually a little bit higher than the standard, which is kind of odd, but it's also kind of cool. I like that about the 85X, which means maybe we can even put a better quantum drive on it, something that's faster. So if we go to the civilian drives, we could put a burst on it, which is faster than the Atlas by quite a bit, by 18,000 kilometers a second. A burst would get you from PO to Hurston in 4 minutes, 57 seconds. And the Atlas would be 5 minutes and 23 seconds. So you could also go down that line. The Rush which is a civilian grade C. A little bit longer to spool and everything, but it should Hersen or Microtech a little bit faster, even though I still probably would recommend the Atlas. But it comes with a beacon, which is a military grade C, which is significantly faster than most things, but you would have to make pit stops to go from like PO to Arcor, PO to Microtech. So let's talk about this ship. You can buy the ship at it says it's the part. You can buy the ship at Lorville at the New Deal Shipyard for 574,500 Alpha UEC. That's a very cheap ship for what you get. The base damage is 808 DPS. And that's a little bit of a misnomer because it does have 2 distortion repeaters on it, which is adding into that. They don't actually do any damage. So that is the turret. For what I would put in the turret, I like to put the Ballistic Gatling Yellow Jacket GT210. And then that would also allow the co-pilot to control that turret. And that's the ballistic aspect of this ship. For the actual size 1 guns, I make sure they are gimbaled. And then I would put an attrition 1 on them. That would raise our total DPS, a true DPS, to 979 DPS with 133 alpha. So I think that's pretty darn good for this ship. It does not have any missiles. It does come with competition grade C gear, except for the quantum drive. So the shields, we're going to change all that stuff around to my normal layout, but the shields comes with 2 targets, which are 1,800 hit points apiece. We're going to upgrade one of them to a palisade. Now look at this difference there. That adds in a lot, right? You're going from about 2,000 to about 8,000, so 6,000 shield points. But if we do that as is, look at our power. It's maxed out. It's past what we need it. The ship wouldn't actually work if we did that. We're going to change the other ship. We're going to put a military FR-66 on there, just like any other size 1 ship, which really would max out our power requirement with that Starheart, because it's made for competition and it's not made for actual heavy loads. So with that, our shields jump up to 14,040 hit points and full charge in just 33 seconds. So we would upgrade our power plant. We're going to go ahead and throw a military JS300 in there. And we're going to go from 1,262 to 3,681 for power. And that puts us just below half on our graph over here, which is exactly where we want to be, under half. For our coolers, it comes with ice plunges at 232K cooling. We're going to throw an ultra flow on there, which is almost double per cooler, and so it's going to make us run very cool. And so now we have a pull of 210K and we have 880K to actually to use. Our quantum drive, I'm probably just going to do the standard Atlas here. It's cheap, it's available at PO, and it's reliable, and it's grade A, so it actually, the computer on it spools up and down faster. So there we go. This is the loadout for the 85X. It does have a high EM and IR, but that's okay. I'm not trying to be stealthy with it. If you want to go for a stealth build, then please feel free. Let's go ahead and add our stock items to the cart and check out how much it costs. It costs $151,000 to build this ship up to my standard. With the Palisade and the FR-66 being very expensive, along with the JS300. The coolers are the most expensive at $55,000. So you could probably get away with not using those coolers. It's up to you, but I do recommend those. So I'm going to go ahead and empty the cart, close out, and we are done with the 85X portion of the video, folks, and for the loadout. And I think now we're going to get into some chase camera dogfighting, so stick around, and then we'll wrap up the video. hey everybody, I want to thank you all for watching the video as we make our approach here and land at Port Olisar, maybe a little too close to the wall here. I do want to say thank you very much for watching the video. Jawa and I definitely appreciate your support and your patronage here on YouTube. If you guys want, we do live stream every week on every Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. You can catch us either on YouTube or on Twitch. Both of us stream independently at the same time, and then we're playing together as well, so we kind of loop in each other's streams, so you can kind of get two different points of view, and I think that's pretty cool. If you would do us the honor of hitting the subscribe button below, that little red button on YouTube, it definitely helps us out. We are obviously trying to get monetized, get partnered with YouTube, so we can get a little bit of money to pay the bills. And if we make anything more, we're probably going to end up buying ships and giving them away to the community. So stay tuned for that in the future of the channel once we get there. So for myself, Fist-25 and JawaSparky, and the rest of everybody who helped make this video, I want to say thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys, and good night, Stanton.